Right, everybody, and welcome to the 1% podcast. I'm going to give you a different intro because I love the Instagram bio. Hang on. I'm joined by the small girl who lifts.
Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Thank you very much, Brandon, for having me today.
No worries. Just anyone that doesn't know, just give a bit of intro, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely no problem. So I am, well, a small girl who likes to live. But no, in all seriousness, I am an online coach and I help loads of females who are probably most likely to have never been in the gym before, never gone into the weights area. And I just help unleash some strong queens out there, you know, that's what I do and I love it. I'm pretty new in the whole industry, but so far I'm absolutely loving it and I'm now privileged enough to do it full time. So yeah, other than that, I just live and breathe the gym. I pretty much have no other life other than the gym. And that's literally me.
No, so, to be fair, we're like, yeah, what are you doing? It's 4 o'clock here and I'm not, that's the thing with podcasts, right? Like I've got pajama bottoms underneath.
Yeah, I'm sweating. I've just come from the gym, so it's all right.
But because I think we started speaking when you did like a shoot with Matt a while ago. Was it last year or was it no, it was
it was last year. My first shoot with Matt was a year ago. So I basically went through like a bit of a transformation myself. I went from being quite overweight. I wasn't like overly overweight, but and then I just kind of decided to do a photo shoot. I was absolutely cacking myself. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm very much a preacher of going out your comfort zone. So I did that first photo shoot. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it a yearly thing where I'm just going to mark my progress year by year and just see how my physique evolves, really. But yeah, that's when we kind of started talking. It was like a year ago.
That's crazy.
Because it's before. Because how long have you been in Dubai for now? It's coming up to a year, is it?
Fucking hell. Whereas September's the 9th month, right?
Yeah.
So I literally got here on the 1st of January. So it's been 9 months.
Yeah. So, because obviously we first started chatting when you actually decided that you was leaving the UK to Dubai. Don't know if you remember, and you're like, oh my god, I've actually done it. I've got my tickets. I do. And I was like, oh my god, this is sick. So yeah, that's
that. Shit, that's crazy, isn't it? How have you found? Because obviously, loads of people see like obviously our job is social media, whatever it may be, and loads of people see these images and things like that. And even to be fair, like I think I just saw your behind the scenes shots this year and things like that. Like, how have you found this kind of dieting phase, getting into photo shoot shape this time compared to maybe the first time you did it?
Okay, so do you know what? The first time I did it, I don't actually think I prepped that much because I was just like, do you know what? I think I was just sat at maintenance, just chilling. And to be fair, it was in October and it was like, you know, the weird limbo where the gyms had only just reopened after lockdown. So I didn't really have the gym. I'd literally at that point had resistance bands. And so there wasn't really a lot I could have done, only just apart from like just making sure I get my steps in and just little resistance band workouts. So I didn't really have any expectations. I just kind of wanted to actually do the photo shoot itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Matt, you know Matt, but he's an absolute wizard. Like, how he does it. I was like, how is that me? Whereas now, so initially, and I'll be honest here, so initially I was like, right, I actually want to get lean, but like lean, right?
Yeah.
So like I started my photo shoot prep like 12 weeks ago, and I was like, right, you know, doing everything by the book. And then it kind of got to the point where like my business was growing, it was like really growing, and then I was kind of having to choose between photo shoot prep or my business, and I was like, obviously business is going to come first. And it got to the point where my energy levels were just so low because I was just putting so much pressure on myself to look a certain way for this photo shoot, because obviously I was documenting it all on my social media, and that automatically made me kind of go, oh my god, I have to look a certain way. And then I just sat down with myself and I was like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with how I look right now. I look strong. I am strong. Like, and to be honest, I was just like, do you know what? I'm just going to start reverse dieting back to maintenance. And this was like 2 weeks before my photo shoot. And I was like, do you know what? that to me is more important, because I'm going to be happier doing the photo shoot, like mentally, and my business isn't going to suffer. And that was kind of like the best thing I did, because it's just kind of, I just want to show it to like any female, the fact that you don't have to be completely shredded or like stage lean, if you like, because a lot of people are now looking at competitors and like competitive females who are really, really, really lean and they're thinking that's healthy and that's how you should look if you want to do a photo shoot, when in reality a photo shoot to me is to celebrate yourself and how far you've come in your own journey. And do you know what I mean? And like, I just think that a lot of people don't really see it like that. They just see it as like a competition to see how shredded you can get, when if that's not really you, then don't let that sway you and your own views. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of my whole little story, really.
No, it's good, because you touch on, that's the thing as well. I think there was probably maybe like, there was that era, wasn't there? It was probably, maybe it was kind of like, I don't know, I don't even know if we were in the industry at that sort of time, but it probably crossed over, where it was all about kind of the aesthetics and the abs and all this kind of like, this is when the social media hype kicked off and all this sort of stuff, and it boomed. And now we're finding that transition now where a lot of people are suffering from mental health side of things, and a lot more self-development, especially over this last 18 months of the world, right? A lot more people are coming connected with themselves. And I've done the same thing. I've had clients do photo shoots this year where they've got absolutely shredded, like pretty really shredded, or again, a bunch of the girls just got to the stage where they just looked absolutely incredible in the bikini. That's it. And like you say, it's about documenting. It's just about being better. Like when you can be like, right, I started this journey 6 months ago and look how much I've learned and how much I've changed as an individual to that day. Because that's what no one sees. They just see these before and after images. So when you release your images, all they're going to see, all I'll see, to be fair, is A and B. I won't see the meal prep of every day. I won't see you kind of like just tearing up because you felt a bit shitty some days and things like that. No one sees what goes on in that 6 months like timeline. So actually, like, it's so important to do it. It's that cliche thing, but to do it for you, because you know exactly what you've learned at the end of that 6 months or 12 weeks, whatever it may be. So it's a really nice, especially because I coach mostly females as well, which I don't know why, like, it just happens. But it is true. It is true. Like females definitely, don't get me wrong, I think guys have it hard in the industry, because I think guys don't even get looked at unless you're 100 kilos and you're absolutely shredded. Do you know what I mean?
That is very true.
But then also females get it from actually way back in the day when, like, if you don't look like a Victoria's Secret model and you're not a size 0, well, is there something wrong with me? And now it's going like, now I don't look like an influencer with glutes, and now I sort of thing. And women have always had that magazine cover to hunt for and things like that, or the glow and things like that. So I think it's really nice that, especially the people that I bring on here, because I'm not going to bring on someone here that I don't fucking like, right?
Of course.
But that everyone preaches the same sort of thing, which is actually just helping people become better, regardless of what your starting point is. So I absolutely love that.
That's the thing. And that's the thing, like, for me personally, like, I was like a complete and utter beginner to weightlifting like 2.5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone starts off being that person who can't even lift the barbell. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? And again, it's nothing that you don't see it. Like, I've had some of my clients go, well, I feel a bit silly because I can't lift the bar. And I'm like, don't feel silly, because I was like, everyone in that room has been in that position. I was like, give it a month and you'll be fine. Like, and then they kind of take it on the chin and they're like, actually, and then they go 3 weeks down the line, they're like, oh my god, I've come so far already. And I'm like, and that's kind of like, to me, that for a photo shoot in particular, that is a marker of just to mark how far you've come. It's a bit like a milestone, really. And it's not even, I mean, the aesthetic is great, don't get me wrong, because obviously if you've got a good photographer, you could, like, I'm not being funny, I was doing some weird poses, like, I genuinely had DOMs everywhere, like, my abs were hurting, my lower back was hurting, my glutes were hurting, and I was like, Jesus Christ, my body is battered from the photo shoot. And you know, when you're just kind of like doing these poses, now I'm not a natural poser in any way, shape or form, so I was like, I felt really unnatural, a bit like a just very unnatural. And I was just a bit like, oh no, these aren't gonna look nice. And then also you get the raws and you're like, how on earth is that me? Because in your head you just feel like you're like a really awkward like plank of wood because you're that stiff. Do you know what I mean? So it is like a really good boost of self-confidence because you don't actually see yourself in the same way, if that makes sense.
No, 100%.
So,
and that's the thing as well, like that's like, you're always going to be your own worst critic, right? So I think I've had it before where clients will check in with you, right? And they're like, oh, you know, like, look at this, like love handles, for example. But then I go back 3 weeks and I'm like, yeah, but look at you here. That's the thing, is that I never, like, we don't just judge by a certain area because I'm not emotionally attached to you, right? So then like, I don't see you every day. So when I see the progress over weeks and months, that's what truly matters. And again, that's why we do this. Like, that's why we brought in this podcast, right? Like 1%. And that's what it's about. It's just doing one little thing every day that's going to take you that one step further forward. Yeah. And that's literally, and I'm getting a bit like fucking sick of, it's no one's fault. It's just the world we live in. It's like, I do it. You probably do it, right? I'm comparing my chapter 6 to someone's chapter 16. Yeah.
And that's just in like life and in fitness. And I think it's so easy for like, just like anyone to do that. Like, for example, like if you're working in a corporate job and let's say you've just started there but you've been there for like 3 months, but then you're comparing yourself to someone who's been there for like 6 years and like, oh my God, why haven't I got promotion yet? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, things take time, but obviously we're all just wanting like instant gratification. That's just the kind of way society is these days. Also, like with like Amazon, obviously you get Prime, you literally get it instantly, and it's like we're automatically like socialized and cultured in that way. So when it comes to like things like changing your physique, building muscle, like losing fat, whatever it may be, it takes a long fucking time. Like, and because we're not really programmed in that way anymore, just because I'm not being funny, you can click your fingers and you could probably get something, do you know what I mean? Like your takeaway or whatever, do you know? So I think that's where it becomes very tough. And obviously, like, I love that obviously this podcast is called the 1%, because it's what I like preach as well. Like, if you yourself become at least 1% better every single day, that's 365% better than you was at the start of the year, you know? And like, and it's something I live off. And it's like, don't get me wrong, you do have crappy days, you have days where you literally don't want to get out of bed, like, but you go, do you know what, I'm going to focus on this today. And because, do you know what, I was a bit naff at that yesterday, you know, whether it's time management, whether it's getting your steps in, whether it's your water, whatever it is, like, you just focus on the one thing and then it automatically will just accumulate, because that is building little habits, do you know what I mean? But you don't even know it. So it's something that I teach my clients as well, which I know you do as well, which is really, I just love it. So yeah, it's
funny, isn't it? Because if we said like to 18-year-olds, which is probably like that time era, right? 18, go to uni for 3 years and you'll have a degree. They'll all happily do that.
Yeah.
Everyone would. And like, if someone wants to be a doctor or a lawyer, okay, 7-10 years. It's funny how people are willing to sacrifice 7, 10, 3 years, maybe more, whatever it is, to be a vet, to achieve what they want to achieve. But yet when it's fitness, why is it a 6-week shredding program?
Yeah, very true.
And it's actually, and I always bring it into businesses as well. I don't think people understand how old Amazon and Facebook actually are and things like that. It's like,
because all they see is it when it becomes popular. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all they see. It's the same with, like, you could probably even go back to like anyone who's had like their own transformation. Like for example, for you, probably people don't even know what you look like many years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's one of them things, like, people don't really look at where something started. They look at them now, you know, and it's important to know that everyone has started at ground zero, you know, but you just got to put one foot in front of the other and just go for it, you know. So yeah.
No, it's easy. It's easy. Right. I've got a couple of questions. Well, not questions, because we put a poll up. We didn't get any fucking questions, did we? Shows you how popular we are.
To be fair, we're very unorganized. We should have done it yesterday. Like, we've got more people watching it. Like, people at work.
That's so true. And then it's like, well, story views can do one at the moment anyway. No one watches stories, so it's fine. Where did I put them? Cool. So one that you wanted to touch on is abs and females, because obviously I think what's good about like these topics as well is that we can literally relay what our clients bring to us. So some of the barriers they're struggling, we can literally put it out to people. So it's good.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So like, I know obviously you just said you coach loads of females, but I get it so many times where we have like a little goal setting session and my girls go, I want to lose fat and then I want abs. And I go, okay, but why do you actually want abs? Like, what is it in particular that you want about abs? And they go, well, it kind of makes me look healthy. And I'm like, where is this weird obsession with abs equals health come from? Like, it, like, to be honest, it's actually like the opposite. Like, you're probably not actually like, you're probably not mentally healthy by the time you've got that lean where you've got abs. You're probably not sleeping great. Like, you're obviously not eating enough to like fuel your body, so your gym sessions are probably like flagging at that point. And it's just kind of like, as a female, we have fat in the abdominal area for a reason, because we are designed to carry children, whether you like it or not. That's what we're here to do. And like, you know, when you kind of get to like the really low body fat percentage, it kind of just, it messes your hormones up, like, and it's just so important. Like, to me personally, I would much rather have quads and glutes and just a bit of fluff, if you want to call it fluff, that's a bit weird, but than shredded abs. And I'd much rather be in a position where I don't feel bad going out for a meal with my family, or, you know, because I know for a full fact that I am consistent 90-80% of the time. And that's the kind of thing that I teach my clients. Having one meal off with your husband or whatever isn't gonna make you lose all progress, because it's taken you God knows how long to get to where you are now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like one salad doesn't make you skinny all of a sudden. It's just like one meal out isn't going to make you lose everything. So I don't know, I just think there's a very weird thing with abs equal like being health, and I don't know. I don't know whether it's the fitfluencer whole vibe where everyone you see who's like a sponsored athlete, blah, 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 they've all got abs. But in all honesty, they're probably just genetically gifted in the sense that they don't store a lot of fat in the stomach area. But yeah, it's just quite sad, because obviously every other normal person would look at that and idolize it and go, oh my God, like, that I want that to be me, when in reality, like, if they were put through that whole process of getting that lean where they have visible abs, they would probably be miserable. Like, sure. And a lot of people, there's a reason why we don't all have abs, because it's not sustainable, and it doesn't make you happy. And to be honest, like, I always say this to my clients, and just how I live as well, like, the gym and just a healthier lifestyle should make you happy. It shouldn't be there to like drain the life out of you. That's the complete opposite what I would want. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of my take on it, to be honest. What would you, what's your...
So like, at the end of the day, it all depends. I think as coaches, we have to be very clear. Like you said, it's like, okay, you want abs? I'm like, fully understand. I get it. It's cool. Like most people do. But how will that impact your life? What will it do to your life? Will it make you happier? Will it bring you more fulfillment? Will it bring you more confidence? Asking those questions, and actually, like, most of the time when you can dig a little bit deeper, it probably won't. So it's a lot of the time, it's an artificial thing where, okay, cool. So I think a lot of time that people try and get lean and stuff is that you're trying to put a plaster over the wound of maybe what's going on underneath the rest of your life. So this is where you can start to dig deeper into people's lives and be like, so do you think abs will define you and things like that? Because I found this when I left my previous sport from kayaking, and then I'm like, oh my God, like for 10 years, that defined me. Like I was that kid, I was that athlete. And then transitioning to fitness, you're like, oh my God, like, so what defined you? And nothing defined you. It's about how you feel in yourself.
100%.
So like, and also like from a female point of view, like I've had a few girls get very, very lean. For obviously, even now there's a couple getting on stage in the next month or so and done shoots. But you got to understand, like they've lost their cycles. Like they've lost their cycles. And that is normal when you get that lean, 100%. but then it's very clear from the get-go, you're like, hey, you potentially will lose your cycle, expect that, or it might be irregular, as not as often, or a bit spontaneous here and there and things like that. But we need to bring that back as quickly as possible, sort of thing. And it is like for women as well, like I don't do body fat percentage or anything like that, but to see abs, you're easily looking from anything from 18 to 15% lower, like easily. Like, and obviously for guys, again, like guys can just hack it a bit more, right? Like there's less from a hormonal standpoint that's going to go wrong with guys. Fucking tired, don't get hard on as much. That's about it.
Yeah, literally.
But then obviously from a female point of view, like I don't think like losing your cycle and getting it back again, I don't think that would affect ovulation and things like that long term if you just lost it once and you got it back fairly smoothly and things like that. But if you see people do it over and over again, I think long term it would have a massive effect on a female's like hormone system. I don't know the big science words, but I think it would 100%. So it just comes down, like you say, it's like what do you want? Like, what do you want? And most of the time it's not. Like, if you ask any women, it's like, I'd like to be able to walk down a beach and feel more confident with my partner. Or I'd like to be able to look in the mirror and actually just be fucking proud of the woman that stares back at me.
100%. And it's just like, it's like, I don't have abs. And I'm just like, but instead I'm like, oh, look at my quads go. You know? It's like, oh, my delts are popping. Like, you just kind of learn to focus on different things, like, especially when, I think like this is where like as a coach it kind of helps as well, because obviously when, I don't know about you, but obviously when you do check-ins and stuff and like, oh my god, like can we appreciate the growth in, I don't know, your delts or whatever, because then the client kind of sits there and goes, actually I feel incredible, I'm getting stronger at the gym, I'm eating good food, I don't feel tired, lethargic, anything like that, you know, I'm smashing my water and my steps. And then the focus away from the initial thing, which was to get shredded in abs, completely disappears, because they're just like, actually, that isn't what I want now. I actually just kind of want to focus on becoming better than what I was when I first started. And that to me is like the big like breakthrough moment when kind of clients go, actually, why do I want abs? Like, if having abs means I can't do this, that, and the other, then no, that's not for me, that's not my lifestyle. And actually going back to your point of competitors as well, like I just feel like there's a very big pressure. For example, if you, I don't know if you guys get it as well, but for me personally, I get so many questions, are you going to compete, are you going to compete? And I'm just like, just because I was a chubby girl who lost weight, then went through a muscle building phase, then had a bit of a cut, and now,
then did a photo shoot, and then you're like, that's it, she's prepping.
Did a photo shoot, and now automatically people think I'm going to do a competition, and I'm like, I personally, I can't. No, I don't think, I do not have the mental capacity to diet, number one, for that long, and to literally have food like that. That is just not me. You know, I mean, maybe in the future, but for now, like, I'm sorry, but that's just not me. But there's this weird taboo where as soon as you like, it's almost like a tick box exercise. You've lost weight, you've done some muscle. Do you know what I mean? Though, like, you've gone through like a muscle building phase, done a photo shoot, right? Okay, so you're competing now, are you? And I'm like, actually, no, I'm just chilling. I'm just going to chill at maintenance for a little bit and then carry on building, because that's what I love. And
I'm going to order a fucking Domino's tonight. Do one.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go out for a meal with my mum. Like, come on, like, seriously. But I just think that's just so bizarre. And I just think, like, you see so many girls who, and probably men as well, who just go through the whole competing thing and prep, and like literally everyone in their nan is competing at this moment. I don't know if you noticed, but I just feel like I can't bloody escape it. And it's just like,
honestly,
and then
you gotta go. And then
it's like, sorry, and it's like, you know, like, for example, like, obviously I do a lot of, well, all my clients are lifestyle clients, and then they kind of look at competing as like a thing that they're gonna have to work towards at some point. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with just kind of living a healthier lifestyle and just staying there and just being better every single time. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to go to the extremes. it's not like a tick box exercise where you go from one thing to another to another. Like it's bizarre. It really is bizarre, but
it's just it's one of those things, right? Like, you know, when like, I can't remember it, but like I grew up with my sister when the mini skirt blew up. Everyone was wearing fucking mini skirts. I'm like, it's just a fashionable phase.
yeah.
Like, it generally is. It's just one of those things. Again, it's like people feel like they need to do it to define them. I'm like, what? Because you stepped on stage, you're automatically like accepted. I'm like, no, I guarantee you going through preps like that is the loneliest shit you'll ever do. So be ready to be alone. And I found that even like, so obviously dieting this time, because I'm doing a shoot in like 2.5 weeks. And I was like, it's been really good, this prep, because I needed to spend a lot of time alone. I'd probably say the last month and a half, I spent a lot of time on my own. And you know what? I fucking needed that from a self-development point of view. And I love it. The first time I've had an apartment on my own, and I've really enjoyed that side of it. But to understand, to do that sort of stuff, to when you want to take something to the next level that is not normal, that you're forcing yourself out of that, maybe out of actually what you want to do because you want to feel socially accepted, it's fucking lonely here.
Yeah.
That's what people need to understand. Like, unless the reason all my friends are on social media is because I connect well with them.
Yeah.
And also that's the reason I unfollowed over 400 people like a couple of weeks ago, because I'm like, well, actually, like, I'm just getting sucked into this world of like, this is what I should be doing. And I'm like, I generally think like, I think the world's in such a good position right now from self-development, mental health, and all this sort of stuff. But then you look at the other side of it, I think people are really fucking broken inside. And sometimes I just want to grab them and shake them. Yeah. And it's like, you can look at this from every aspect. I'm like, guys, we've just gone through the toughest 18 months in probably the rest of our lives, from everything from an economy standpoint to like, we can't even leave our homes, like all this sort of stuff. And now you're trapped inside your own head. Like, there's so much, and then everything's kicking off in the middle. Like, what is going on in the fucking world? So why are you trying to do something that you're just making yourself more unhappy? Like
life is too short. It really is. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, I commend people who can do it, but what I'm trying to say is that not everybody is made for that, and there shouldn't be like an expectation that for a girl in particular to be lifting that they're competing. You know, like for a girl who's got muscle, oh my god, they must be competing. And I'm just like, no, maybe I'm just a girl who likes to look toned. I like to have muscle and I like to be strong. Like, do you think I like to carry 2 shopping bags in one hand? Yeah, of course I do. Way more practical. Like, and that's like, and to me, like, that often gets like missed and overlooked. And yeah, I just think it is really important. Like, to be honest, like, God, if you're really not, like, a lot of people, I don't know if you'll agree, but they go into competing for exposure and for social media and to document. And I'm just like, why don't you just document your actual life? Like, if we're like, people like to compete, yeah, fair enough. Like, some people literally live and breathe the sport. Absolutely fantastic. You do you know? Yeah. But then the people there's so many people out there who are doing it for the wrong reasons, and they're probably not even mentally even in the right place to do it. So then they end up probably just going through half of the prep and then just going, no, this is way too hard for me. By that point, they've wasted God knows how much money on posing sessions, and like, do you know what I mean? And they just go, actually, no, it's not for me. But I'm just like, you should. Yeah. There must have been at some point where they've kind of even felt pressured to do it, or they thought it was like the in trend to do. I don't know, but I just find it a really big shame, to be honest, because I just think that there's absolutely nothing wrong in celebrating the fact that day in, day out, you're grafting, you're getting stronger, just for you. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong like with that. But that's kind of what I've kind of noticed and what I've seen.
Honestly, like I did that like 2000 and where are we now? 2018. I did, was it 2000? Yeah, 2018. I did my first show, and then I moved to London to coach one-to-one. And then I prepped for my second show in 2019 to go back on stage in 2019. I shit you not, that prep and that show still haunts me today. That's the reason I was supposed to go back on stage last year, and I was like, oh no, I won't. I'll do a photo shoot instead because of COVID. I was a bit scared, so I just do a shoot. Same reason this year, because I'm like, I don't think I'm mentally ready to do it again, because I have those little demons in my head still. Yeah, because I'm like, because it was so bad. It was like, I remember just walking up the escalators in the tube, and like my knees were throbbing, and like just everything, like it was just horrible. And then that was the year that I got anxiety, and I had like my first panic attack and everything like that, and it all just spiraled. And if I looked at my, like, I've never shown many images from it ever, because I'm so like, it's bad. I shouldn't be ashamed, because I pushed hard and I respect my mindset for that, but I'm ashamed to look at my body then. And that's horrible to look back on, sort of thing. But that's the reality of it. Like, if you're not ready to do it and you're not in the mindset, if I wish I had a coach then to be like, don't fucking do it, or pull me out of it. As much as I wanted to, I'd rather be like, someone say, dude, you need to back out. There's always other shows, there's always other days and things like that. But I feel like now it'll probably be 3 years out by that stage. I've done a couple of photo shoots, fun, giggles and things like that, which I loved. And then I'm like, I want to go back on stage next year, but who's to say I will? Do you know what I mean? I have the goal of doing it, but I'm like, do you know what? It doesn't define me anymore, because no one knows me as that.
Yeah, and that's so important. Like, and this is what I mean. Like, a lot of people just very quickly rush to do it when they probably don't have enough muscle. I'll be honest. Like, but they're just. Oh no!
No, honestly, you know, when you look at the first couple of shows, I was like, I will post the picture up this week on Instagram from my first show, and I was like, that's mad. I've seen African children with more muscle than me.
Oh my Jesus! Oh my God, that's outrageous. But this is what I mean. Oh, at least my point's proven. But like, do you know what I mean? And I see it all the time. I'm just like, why are you doing this? like I speak to so many, like, there's quite a few people at my gym, for example, who are going through prep, and they're like, God knows how many weeks out. And I actually ask them, because I'm just like, oh, like, are you enjoying the process? And like, I mean, to be fair, kudos to her, but she's like in her like mid-40s going through a first bikini prep. And I was like, you know what, fair enough, go on. Like, and then like she was like 6 weeks out from her show, and she had a massive binging episode.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I was like, and I actually asked her, I was like, do you actually think you're mentally ready to carry on for like 6 more weeks then? Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, to me, that would be a massive flag, you know, like, if I had a binging episode, I'd be like, oh, no, I need to stop because this is just going to spiral. And then it was just bizarre, because I was just like, what is your reason why? Like, if someone has a really like big reason why they're doing it, then yeah, 100% go for it. But like, when they can't really give you a legitimate why, it's kind of like, why you put yourself through this? You're fully not in it. You're like, it's the same with anything. Like, if your reason why to do something, even for like business, even for like life, everything, you've got to have a reason why you're doing it. Because if you don't, you're not going to be fully in it. So that's kind of what it's
so true though, isn't it? But it doesn't matter what the goal is, the why has to be there. So it's like, if you have someone, so like, for example, like I had a call with a guy yesterday, and I was like, bro, like, what's the mission? What's the goal? How do you want to look and feel in the next 3 to 6 months time? What would the success look like? How would that make you feel? And then blah, 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 they ramble on. But I'm like, okay, cool. That's great that you want to get leaner and things like that. But that's bollocks, isn't it? Because everyone wants to get leaner and have more muscle. Everyone. So why do you want to do this? And why now? Why not last year? Or why not this? So sometimes there's little triggers that have come up in people's lives. And those are the triggers you need to hit, because that's the reason why people want to change.
Yeah, definitely.
So it could be a women's point of view. It could be, I'm ready to have kids and I want to be in a healthy position to have kids, get married. Actually, it could be something like, actually, I want to be able to have sex with the lights on.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, naked. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, yeah, like genuinely get naked in front of my partner. Like, yeah, that is actually like the saddest thing. That, alongside with like looking at yourself in the mirror and crying, like that actually breaks my heart, because I was there. I was that person. And like, and I genuinely, I'm not even joking when I say the gym has changed my life. I have never been this confident in my entire life. I couldn't even look at people in the eye. Now I can talk to anybody and everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you told me like a year ago that I'd be doing a YouTube, I'd be doing a podcast, I would have been like, I would have actually laughed at you. Like, I would have been like, absolutely no chance. Do you know what I mean? But that's all stemmed from me having the goal of bettering myself, but then that goal just kind of evolving to further goals. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of, you start off at the bottom, but then obviously you hit that goal and you're like, oh god, okay, now what? Okay, let's do a photo shoot, let's do a YouTube, do you know what I mean? And it just kind of evolves, and then the byproduct is you kind of evolve with it, if that makes sense. And it's just a whole game of evolving yourself. And when you kind of sit back and realize that it's not just about how you look, I think that's when the game very much changes. I don't know if you agree, but that's
100%. Like, I think that now. So it's like only the last couple of days. So it's like, oh, 2.5 weeks out from the shoot, I'm getting a bit like, okay, I'm tired now. It gets to, well, it's like almost 5 p.m. now for me, and I'm like, can I have dinner yet and go to bed? It gets to that point. But generally, like, there was a point like where I was just like that happy medium stage where I was energized still, I was a little bit leaner, and I was buzzing, I was good. And that's like that prime position to be in. And that's all that we're, as coaches, that's all we want to get to that happy point. Because it's like, it's anything, right? If I gave someone £50, it'd be really nice, right? It'd be super nice. But then it'd be like, oh, I needed 100, or 100 be nice. And I think it's always good. This is why, like, I start journaling a lot more. Like, I've started journaling a lot more. I get clients to try it, because generally, like, when you can start writing down 3 things that you've achieved, maybe in the last week, in the last 24 hours, but they're small things. I nailed my step count. I spoke to my mum. I picked up the phone and I text my sister I loved her, something like that. Those are wins. And then you can write down 3 things you're grateful for. Well, actually, I've got a roof overhead. I've got food in my fridge. And you know what? There's people out in the world that's trying to leave their country because it's unsafe. So sometimes take a step back a lot more than people need to do, for sure.
100%.
And then actually, I think it's great that people want to keep achieving more, because me and you are very similar mindsets like that. And that's probably the reason why we fuck with our heads a lot more. It's because we're like, actually, like, I've got a to-do list. I've got one more thing into my do list and it's done. But now I'm getting better at being like, that's it, it's done. Now just relax for the afternoon and evening. It's done. Instead of being like, let's try and build something and try and produce a problem and try and fix it again. Sort of thing. Give yourself more stress and more anxiety.
Or it's like, oh, let's get ahead of the next day. And it's like, just no. Because to be honest, like, you probably vouch me on this as well. Like, as soon as I started working from home, on obviously just kind of like building your own brand and your own business, you very much became a hermit. And I literally, at one point, I'm not even joking, I wasn't even going out doing my steps. I was just engrossed, which is great. Obviously, I love what I do, but I completely forgot to look after myself. And I was like, hang on, wake up here, honey. What are you doing? Like, and it's crazy, because if you don't actually take a moment to step back, that can easily happen. And it's the same with anybody who works like a normal job, like in an office. It's very easy to get warped into just work, and then you kind of forget, you don't really prioritize your meal plan anymore. You don't prioritize, your water intake anymore, because you're just so engrossed on your busy lifestyle. But that's when you actually need to kind of have a word with yourself, sit down and go, right, actually take a deep breath. What's going on? Because it is very easy for everyone to kind of sway off plan, off track. I hate that, but do you know what I mean? And it is kind of really important to kind of just have little moments of self-reflection and just kind of applaud yourself for how far you've come. Like, you'd be like, you probably get it all the time as well, but like, I have so many people I work with, and they're the first person to criticize what they haven't done. I'm like, yeah, but you've done X, Y, Z. And I was like, you've actually gone to the gym now. You don't get gym anxiety anymore. I was like, the first time you were ringing me crying. I can't step one foot in there. And I was like, can we just take a moment here? And then they go, oh my God, yeah. But this is what I mean. Like, we're very quick to go, right, next thing. And we never actually just take a moment, sit down and go and actually write it down. Like, I love gratitude, and I practice it every morning. And I think being grateful for what you've got kind of opens the door to more things being available to you in life, whether that's people, whether that's opportunities, whatever it may be. Like, I think that all comes from just reflecting and being grateful for what you've got, because you're just bringing out the good vibes, you know, and the good vibes equals more good vibes, in my opinion.
But it's true though, that's the thing. It's like, I've always been, sport has always been a part of my life from a very young age. So like, and even now, like, I will always prioritize myself. The reason I actually came into the fitness industry, because I wanted to do it for a selfish reason. It's like, I was transitioning out of that sport, like I said, and I was like, I need to do something where I can earn money and keep training. That's literally it. So I was like, I'm going to be a fucking PT. That's it. And I was like, purely selfish, all for me. And over time, I started to love coaching and I started to love what we do now. But initially, it was all about me. And that's how generally it sounds really like it's not a negative thing, but you need to look after yourself more. Anyone that listens to this needs to look after themselves more. Because if you can become the better individual, if you can become very self-aware, self-secure in who you are, you're only going to draw in those people that you want to hang around with. And it's a very overused term, but look at the 5 people that you surround yourself with most, or look at the last 5 people you text. Do they bring value to your life?
Yeah.
Are they lifting you up, sort of thing? Probably, because actually, if you start looking after yourself, become a bit lonely at times, for sure. Just to kind of figure out what you want in this moment of time. But if I look through the last 5 people I text, it's actually pretty decent people. It was like, if I look through Instagram, it's like you, my mum, my coach, and then boom, 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 2 other people that are like mean a lot to me. So I'm like, actually, that's pretty good going. And like, I would just say people need to put their own oxygen masks on first. Like, the reason they tell you that when a plane's going to crash is because, like, if you don't put your own mask on first, you can't help anyone else.
Yeah, and that is so important. And you know what, it's very much so, I'm very similar to you. So I've literally just moved, and I've literally moved away from where I used to live. So I used to live like in a city, blah blah. I used to live with like 2 other girls, and I just got to the point where I was just like, I very much know what I want, and I know myself very well, and this environment isn't serving me, isn't going to serve my business, isn't going to serve what I want in life. So I'm just going to move. And I literally now, I live in the middle of nowhere, in a tiny little village, and you literally have to drive to get to anything. But pros and cons, but the amount of self-reflection you do when you are on your own, and you literally, and it's so true, like you choose very wisely who you to like spend time with and who you give your energy to, because I'm not being funny, if that energy isn't reciprocated, they're gone. And it's as simple as that. And it's very, and a lot of people just don't do that. So I really agree, like, if like genuinely like look after yourself and have a word with yourself, like, what do you actually want in life? Like life is way too short to kind of be out there pleasing everybody and anybody. Like, if you're not actually happy within yourself, why is that? And then kind of go through all those reasons and then start working on it. Because the best thing I ever did was worked on myself for myself, because that's made me the person I am today. And I just think the more you do that, the better people you kind of attract, and the better people that come along into your life. Because I mean, everybody's been through like crappy relationships, crappy friendships, everyone has, but that's part of life. But it's the growth part is actually leaving those people behind in the past, you know. Like, there's so many people who kind of cling on to those because they don't think they can either do better, or they're scared of being lonely. But actually being lonely, it's so liberating going to a coffee shop and sitting on your own and having a coffee.
So good. And dinner.
So good. Like, even just like simple things, like, I don't know why like girls do it, but it's like going to the toilet with 3 other of your friends. Like, why do girls do that? Like, genuinely, like, oh, I'm going to the toilet, who else wants to come with me? Like, what is that? Just go to the toilet on your own. But this is what I mean, like, a lot of people are actually scared to go to a cafe on their own because they're scared they're going to look lonely. And I'm just like, no one cares. And like, I freaking love it. I love spending time with myself. Like,
so nice.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, don't get me wrong, there's days where you're just like, oh my god, I feel like a bit of a crazy cat lady minus the cat, you know, because you end up talking to yourself or God knows what, do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I just think everybody kind of needs to have that phase where they stop pleasing other people and start prioritizing themselves, because at the end of the day, like, if you're not going to scratch your own back, who else is going to do it? And like, you can't expect anyone else to be honest. Don't get me wrong, obviously there is people who are going to like support you and whatnot, but when chances are, if you're not putting yourself first, the people around you probably aren't either. Do you know what I mean? So
also, the people that are going to support you still aren't going to pay your bills. They're not going to wake you up in the morning and sort your shit out. That's up to you.
No, yeah, definitely.
No, honestly, like I genuinely could just ramble on for ages, so it's good. But we'll do another podcast for sure when we're in Nottingham. So it's good. I'm buzzing. So sick.
Yeah, we'll get you on my YouTube.
Yeah, do it. I'm up there for. Hang on, let me check. I've already got it in. So I'm up. I don't know where I'm staying. Yeah, I need to sort that out. I'll just get Airbnb. Where are we? September, right?
Yeah.
Nottingham from the 30th of September to the 5th.
That's good. That's good length of time, that.
Oh man, I'm buzzing. So it's gonna be sick. So we'll get a couple of sessions in there. We've got awesome. So it's cool. To wrap up, I want you to give one piece of advice. So what's one thing that can take someone 1% further forward tomorrow?
Oh, what a good question. Oh, just, I don't know, it's gonna sound so silly, but like, I'm not very good at these things because I just end up giving like an essay and verbal diarrhea. So feel free to kind of, you know, chop away. But I just think, have like at the start of a week, so I always do it on a Sunday, I literally write down the goals for the week, right? Whatever it may be. If it's something silly like drink at least 2 liters of water a day, and then make a little like table. Go Monday, did I do that? Yes, no. And then every single day you see what you've done and what you haven't. So then week by week, you literally can see where you need to improve and what you need to do. But that's the beauty of it, because it's just a never-ending cycle, if that makes sense, because there's always room for improvement, always. Like, even like with me, like I'm not perfect at all. Like, I always have things where I'm like, right, okay, tomorrow I need to improve on this because I was a bit shit today. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just kind of always looking back at the day before, always just make sure like you just tick in the right direction. And to be honest, if you have a crappy day, don't let that shitty day affect your whole week. Let it happen. If you've gone off plan, if you've had a bad meal, I hate that word, but you know what I mean? If you've gone off plan, had a meal, whatever, accept it, take it on the chin, crack on next day. And like, don't let it dwell on you, and like, don't let like it guilt trip you, because that's not productive at all. So yeah, I told you it's not very short answer.
No, it's good. No, it's good. It's perfect. No, it's perfect. No, I love it. And then where can anyone find you? All this sort of stuff.
Okay, so oh my god, so my Instagram is underscore Aiste, but so I mean it's very long, but underscore ST. And then my YouTube is Aiste Life. I don't know why I named it that. It's a bit weird, but we roll with it.
That's good. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's me.
So what I'll do is I'll links below, if it's on YouTube, links below, and then on Spotify, on Apple Music, it'll all be in the links in the bio, guys. So any questions, always just chuck them over. Like, I know that you're more than happy to answer any questions that 100%. People have, so it's absolutely fine. Easy peasy. It was absolutely lovely to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me, Brandon.
No
I loved it.
worries. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.